Chapter 3 Content Mastery video. So explain the 5 areas of marketing environment. So the 5 key areas is the political/legal environment, the economic environment, the social culture environment, the technological environment, and the competitive environment. So starting with the political legal environment, it's basically just safety, labor laws, taxation. So it just is like the governing policies, the legalizations, and different international trade regulations, all different things that businesses must operate under. So whenever something changes in the political parties where a tariff is created, businesses need to adapt and understand that they cannot get the same product at the same price, so they need to change. Same thing with the legal. If something is then outlawed, they need to make that change so they can keep their business running at the full, full rate. So the economic environment. Includes forces that affect consumer purchasing power and spending patterns. So, inflation, interest rates, employment rates, income levels. If your product, or if you're placing your product in a high income area, you might want to charge it at a higher price than if you place it in a lower income area, because it's the people that you're tailoring it towards are people that can afford it. So that's definitely looking at where your market is. If you want to put it in a higher market area, those people are probably going to want to spend more money, so they can get a better product. Where, when you're going somewhere where the income might be less, those people might not want to spend as much money on something. So businesses need to realize that and understand, this is the market that we are tailored towards. This is how we are going to adjust. It definitely matters for, inflation. When there's recessions and customer purchasing power is at an all-time low, or, very disposable, it depends. It really does depend on if your consumer can purchase your product. Looking at the social cultural environment, it just is looking at the cultural norms, values, attitudes, lifestyle trends. So if you're targeting, my demographic, like a 20-something-year-old white male, you might want to tailor it towards like a video game or sports, something of that sort, because that is their culture. That's something that they want to strive for. They're looking for something that they can relate to, something that might tie into their childhood, whatever. Different things like that. You need to look at if a culture needs this product, and if they want it, if it fits into their cultural norms. So understanding the different types of cultures and their value systems, if they believe in something, if they don't. Because if you try to tailor something towards someone that believes something that you don't, it definitely is harder to get them to agree in buying your product. Technological environment. So it's often the most disruptive factor. It encompasses innovations that change how the product is created, distributed, and marketed. So right now AI is taking over. That's kind of a big thing. There's a big risk in it, I feel. There's a huge rise in it, obviously. So it's allowing companies to use AI to create their products now. They don't need people managing the product assembly anymore. It's more, let the machines work and then we'll sort it out later. So it's definitely something that's causing people to either lose jobs, whatever. So then that can also tie back in to the social cultural environment. If you're using just AI and you're firing people at a high rate, people might not want to buy from you because you're removing people's livelihood. So technological environment is definitely a tough one um, to. It's a tough line to toe because you don't know where people are swayed towards if they want a product that is only made by AI or if they want a product that's only made by people. And then the competitive environment, um, just looking at the area of your competitors, their size, the market share, strategies that they have, it's all encompassing basically, where you need to look at the other person that you're going up against. So it's always going to be a competition, unless you're a one of one product, which people are going to try to copy it. So that's kind of like, Pepsi and Coca-Cola. They've had a heated rivalry because they're so competitive in their own market. They have a similar product that they are trying to sell, so they use each other as these stepping stools to try to get higher in the market. Different things like that. Apple and Samsung, those two are always competing for the most amount of users. So it's definitely looking at pricing, marketing, everything. So now moving on to, I need to talk about the concepts of marketing or ethics in marketing and how it fits into or coincides with the concept of social responsibility. So ethics in marketing is the application of moral principle and values such as honesty, fairness, responsibility, integrity, different things of that sort. Definitely looking at the people, being able to hold a moral basis, being able to have ethical means to get your product, because that's a huge one. I feel like there's ways that can be very unethical, but it's lawful. So it's like you can't really say anything about it, but you can say that it's not proper. Like outsourcing, getting the materials from a different country that you're going to pay 30 cents on the dollar. Like they're making so little compared to what someone in America might make that, it's not unethical almost. Like people just won't agree with it. So it's kind of hard to toe that line once again, where you can understand, these people are trying to make a profit, but they also have to be ethical and they have to understand the market that they are around and what people think of them. So the 4 dimension of social responsibility, you need to be economically responsible. So that means just be profitable. Make sure that the foundation is always going to be there. Make sure that your business can always stay afloat. You don't want to go into the negative because then you're sinking. And, that's when issues happen. Legally responsible, so obey the law. Kind of like how I was just saying, something might be legal, but ethically it might not be. So it's just making sure that you comply to all the laws. Ethical responsibility, doing what is right. Even though something legally might be right, you're filling your legal responsibility. You're not filling the ethical responsibility. And that's the main issue that a lot of people have with brands or businesses, is that they don't fill that ethical need that people want to see. They need to be, as a business, they need to respect the people that are buying their product or, have a stake into the company, so a stakeholder. They just need to understand that. And then the philanthropic responsibility, making sure that you are a good corporate citizen. You need to promote human welfare. Charitable donations is a good thing. Volunteering, community development, making sure that you're going out into the people that are around you. That's a huge one. If you move into a new community, donating to something or building a new community center, something that brings people around and brings people together, is huge for brands. Because if they're just going into an area and monopolizing it, people they're going to be kind of so-so about it because, it's going to bring economical gain, but it's also not going to be good for the people in a sense because they're not receiving benefits. It's only the company that is receiving the benefits. So the importance of that it builds that trust, that brand loyalty. It makes people want to go back to that specific company. Like in the assignment, talking about the Zappos, they moved to Las Vegas, or they moved 2,000 employees to Vegas. So it boosted the economy in hotels, restaurants, because 2,000 more people were there, and they had to, go out and get food. So then that's creating creating an environment for people to, coincide with everything else. And then that creates loyalty, because people will see the gain that is around them. So then they can go back and see who it came from and use them only. So some of the ethical issues or areas that can impact or influence marketers' decisions. So key ethical issues influencing marketing decisions include like data privacy, trustfulness, and advertising. If you have a data breach every 3 months, people aren't going to want to use your company, because that means that you just don't care about your different people that are buying your product. You just don't care about if they are exposed to random hackers. Same thing with the trustfulness and advertising. If you're just lying in your ad, people are not going to trust you. That's definitely going to, make your company have a bad image, and, people are not going to like that. Or also, if your environmental impact is terrible, if you are a bad company and you create a lot of pollution and you're just bad in general, people are not going to mess with that, and they're not going to like that. So they're going to want to avoid your company at all costs. Thanks.